Everybody, this is Dr. Forth, and today's topic is time management. Seems very simple, but it's really important for your success as a student. And as you're putting together your schedule, you want to make sure that you're honest with yourself. Don't overschedule. What I mean is a 6 hour block of time for studying on Friday night is probably not reflecting reality. So make sure that you are honest with yourself. That means also including any of the things that take your time. If you have a favorite TV show that you don't want to miss, put it in the schedule. If you have to take the dog to the vet, put it in the schedule. I would suggest study sessions should really be about 2 hours long, okay? Because if it gets too long, you're not going to be retaining any of that information. You need to digest your subject matter in small bite-sized pieces. So make sure that you're honest with your schedule. I always used to tell my students that you should think about your school experience like as if it's your full-time job. Okay, so that means you go to school, you're focusing on school stuff, you're doing classes, you're doing your study at the library, doing your research, and all of that. Treat it like it's really work. And then when you come home, that can be your off time. And there's a lot of value to that, but I've kind of changed my mind over the years. And I think that being a student is a lot more like being an entrepreneur than a full-time employee. Here's why. Entrepreneurs have a lot of flexibility about when they can set their times for work and so forth. They also have a lot more responsibility. So entrepreneurs often do not have a boss. The boss provides oversight and benchmarks of achievement that have to be accomplished. And without that oversight and benchmark setting, you're going to have potentially a hard time staying productive. And so it's very important as an entrepreneur to create those tools and benchmarks and so forth for yourself. I'm a business owner. I face this challenge as well. One of the things that I've noticed, in addition to meticulously maintaining my calendar and schedule, is a to-do list. And I have a daily to-do list. I've found that topics should be broken up. So instead of just saying, do YouTube video, it's going to be prepare the material for the YouTube video, shoot the video, edit the video, post the video, and fix the subtitles. The AI does actually a really pretty good job generating subtitles, but occasionally there's little mistakes. I'm always afraid it's going to say something wrong or inappropriate, so I always tweak those. So each of those are going to be an individual item. That way I make sure that I don't miss steps. And I like to, because I'm not a paper person, I like to put my to-do list right into my calendar on my tablet with appropriate alerts. So it's on a daily basis that I have those to-do list items. I know exactly what I have to accomplish each day so that I can stay on task and not get stuck in too many, rabbit holes with research and articles that look interesting to read. That's not even taking into consideration the possibility of scrolling on social media apps or anything else that might be distracting. So realize that as a student, you're a lot more like an entrepreneur with that kind of flexibility. The other thing as an entrepreneur, the consequences for not staying on task are delayed. So if you're an employee and the boss walks by your desk and every time they walk by, you're playing games on your computer, sooner rather than later, somebody's going to have a conversation with you about that. Consequences. Relatively close to the time that you've been doing the questionable activity. If you're an entrepreneur, Nobody's looking over your shoulder. The consequences are your business doesn't thrive. You don't get paid. Well, that's like delayed very often, right? So there's a lot of procrastination, gaming, off-task time that can happen before the consequences of those decisions become apparent to you. It's the same thing with being a student. If you choose to not do your work, not do your studying, waste, weeks at the beginning of the term, it's going to be a while before you have due dates and tests and quizzes to hold you accountable. So you're going to have to hold yourself accountable, just like being a business owner. So keep that in mind. You want to make sure that, as I said, your schedule reflects reality. Don't make your study times too long. I said about 2 hours. You should assign them to specific topics. Don't just put study and a specific topic. And you can look at your class schedule and kind of organize that according to how you want to do your study times. It's useful if you have at least a few minutes before class to review what the faculty are going to be speaking about. That's a good thing. So keep that in mind when you're making your schedule. Make sure you set up breaks. Breaks are just as important as doing the rest of your work. It's going to help you be more productive. And also, when you have your large amounts of time for study, like maybe on the weekend or something, make sure that you break it up with bigger breaks, like when you do something completely unrelated to studying. So you might have a study block in the morning, then go to the park or go to the movies or whatever it is you like to do for a couple of hours, and then come back and study. You'll find that it's going to be much more useful than trying to force yourself to sit in the library for 6 hours and then go out to the club all night. So try and break that up with activities that are not related to actual schoolwork. Goal setting goes hand in hand with time management, and I was going to include it here, but I think it warrants its own particular video. So I'm going to be making a video specifically about goal setting. So watch out for that. You'll need the time management skill after graduation for your career path and also helping to maintain good work-life balance. If you want more information on time management, I've created a free time management guide and template. The link is going to be in the description of how you can sign up for that. And also, if you're wanting more information about study skills, note taking, and integrating mindfulness practices like meditation and brain waves and even reflexology, there's an online class I've created to address that, and I've put that link also in the description. Make sure you like and subscribe so that I can see you on the next one.